Mistakes when eating tomatoes that harm your body every day. How to eat tomatoes in meals. You make very serious mistakes every time you put tomatoes on your plate, and you don't even know it. Tomato is one of the most consumed foods worldwide and is probably present almost every day on your table. It's easy to think that, being such a common fruit full of benefits, there's no way to mess up eating it, right? Wrong. In fact, there are hidden traps in the simple act of eating tomatoes that might be affecting your health every day, and you don't even realize it. Yes, what should be a superfood to protect your heart, skin, bones, and even your immunity can be turning into a real silent bomb inside your body. Have you ever stopped to think if you're storing tomatoes the right way? Could that cracked skin, that slightly green tomato, or even that sauce you cook for hours be good or bad for you? And what if I told you there's a food combination you make with tomatoes, thinking it's healthy, but that actually destroys a big part of their nutrients? Worse yet, there is a specific mistake, the most serious of all, that most people make without even noticing. A mistake that can make you lose practically all the benefits tomatoes should bring to your health. And yes, this mistake is present in the routine of the vast majority of people, maybe yours too. If you think you know how to consume tomatoes properly, get ready to be surprised, because the information you'll discover here can completely change the way you look at this food. Want to protect your health, enjoy all the benefits of tomatoes, and above all, avoid these silent and dangerous mistakes? Then stay with me until the end of this video, because what you'll discover today can make all the difference in your life. Number 9. Eating raw green tomatoes. Green tomatoes, when eaten raw, might seem like a harmless choice for those looking to vary their diet, but hide a considerable risk. This happens because of a substance called solanine, a toxic compound found in some vegetables of the nightshade family. Solanine, in small amounts, usually doesn't cause major problems, but when consumed excessively, it can cause serious discomfort in the body. This compound is a natural defense of the plant against predators, but for us, it can be harmful. That's why frequent consumption of raw green tomatoes is not recommended. Symptoms like nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and even diarrhea can be signs of solanine poisoning. Imagine you're making a salad and include some tomatoes that haven't fully ripened yet, thinking it won't make a difference. What seems like a simple choice can actually trigger gastrointestinal discomfort. It's a risk many people don't even realize they're taking daily. The slightly bitter taste of green tomato is already a natural warning from the food itself. The risk is even higher for children, elderly, and people with more sensitive immune systems. That's because these people's bodies have more difficulty dealing with food toxins. Also, those with a history of digestive problems may feel solanine's effects even more intensely. Have you ever wondered if you or someone in your family might be exposed to this without knowing? This is a detail that can make all the difference for long-term health. Another important point is that green tomatoes are not widely used raw in cooking for this very reason. In some cultures, they appear in specific recipes, but always cooked or processed, which helps significantly reduce solanine levels. Heat, fortunately, can break down part of this toxic compound, making the food safer to eat. So, if you like green tomatoes, the tip is to always prefer them cooked. But what about those slightly green tomatoes you find in the market? Do they also pose a risk? The answer is, it depends. If the tomato is just beginning to ripen, with some green parts, the solanine level is usually very low, almost negligible. The bigger problem is with clearly green, hard tomatoes that haven't gone through the natural ripening process. Those should be avoided raw. A good practice is to always check the color and texture of tomatoes before consuming. Firm tomatoes, but already showing reddish or orange hues, are ideal for most preparations. If you come across very green tomatoes, the best decision is to let them ripen at room temperature for a few days. This not only reduces solanine, but also improves the flavor and nutritional quality of the fruit. So remember, eating raw green tomatoes may seem innocent, but carries concrete risks for your health. If you want to ensure tomato benefits without putting your body at risk, always choose well-ripened fruits, and if you want to eat green ones, prefer them cooked. Number 8. Eating overripe tomatoes. When a tomato reaches an overly ripe stage, it goes from healthy to potentially dangerous. This happens because the riper the fruit, the more likely fungi and bacteria proliferate on its surface. The skin starts to crack, allowing microorganisms to find a perfect environment to grow. The sweet smell and very soft texture are clear signs something is wrong. Unfortunately, many people ignore these signs in their daily rush. Eating tomatoes that are overly ripe can trigger several digestive problems. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and even food poisoning are real risks when consuming foods that have begun to decompose. This is especially dangerous for people with weakened immune systems like elderly, children, and those with health conditions. Have you noticed that sometimes those not-so-nice tomatoes go straight to the plate without proper inspection? Besides visible fungi, there's another invisible risk: mycotoxins. These toxins, produced by some types of fungi, are highly harmful to health and can have cumulative effects on the body. They affect from the digestive system to the nervous system, with potential long-term damage. The worst part is they're not always visible to the naked eye, making the risk even sneakier. It's a silent danger many don't imagine. Did you know improper storage speeds up this degradation process? Often, tomatoes are left exposed to sun, humid and stuffy places, creating the perfect environment for bacteria and fungi growth. Small care, like storing them in ventilated places away from direct light, makes all the difference. A simple habit change can prevent many health problems. Many people also believe that cutting off spoiled parts is enough to remove the risk. Unfortunately, that's not true. Bacteria and toxins often spread internally even if the outside looks partially fine. It's like trying to put out a fire with a glass of water. It just doesn't work. Making safer choices when preparing your food is essential. When you notice the tomato is very soft, has dark spots, cracks, or unpleasant odors, the best decision is to discard it. Trying to use it in these conditions puts your health at unnecessary risk. After all, there are many fresh and safe options available at markets or fairs. Your well-being should always come first. And be alert, because although this mistake is serious, the worst one, the one that totally destroys tomato benefits, will be revealed only in the last chapter. So keep watching. Number 7. Eating too many tomatoes. Tomatoes are undoubtedly extremely healthy and nutritious. They're rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants like the famous lycopene. However, like everything in life, too much can turn something good into something harmful. Eating large amounts of tomatoes, especially daily, can bring unwanted side effects. This is because tomatoes naturally contain organic acids like citric acid and malic acid. These acids, when consumed excessively, can irritate the stomach lining, causing heartburn, burning sensations, and even gastroesophageal reflux. For those predisposed to gastritis or digestive problems, excessive consumption can trigger flare-ups. And don't think this applies only to raw tomatoes. Sauces, juices, and extracts count too. Have you ever felt that burning after a tomato-heavy meal? Another problem related to excess is the increased risk of kidney stones in some people. This happens because tomatoes have oxalates, substances that can combine with calcium in the body and form kidney stones. Of course, this doesn't mean you should avoid tomatoes, but rather consume them in the right amount, especially if you have a history of this problem. Digestive discomfort is also common among those who overeat tomatoes. This is mainly due to insoluble fibers found in the skin and seeds. In excess, these fibers can cause gas, bloating, and even diarrhea. Have you noticed your body reacting strangely after a meal with a lot of tomatoes? Your body talks, and it's important to listen. Also, overeating tomatoes can cause joint discomfort in some people. This is due to a group of compounds called alkaloids, which in very high amounts can trigger inflammation in sensitive individuals. While it doesn't affect everyone, it's something to pay attention to, especially if you suffer from arthritis or joint pain. If you love tomatoes, the best strategy is to vary. Alternate with other fruits and vegetables, ensuring a balanced and diverse diet. This not only avoids side effects from excess, but also broadens the benefits other foods can offer. Balance is always the key to healthy eating. Remember that tomatoes are wonderful, yes, but shouldn't be treated as a miracle food, nor as the sole base of your diet. Their role in health is complementary, alongside other vegetables, legumes, fruits, and protein sources. It's this variety that builds a strong and resilient body. And hey, if you think this is a serious mistake, no, we haven't reached the most destructive one yet. That's right, the biggest mistake people make with tomatoes, the one that cancels almost all their benefits, will be revealed in the last chapter. So stay tuned. Number 6. Eating tomatoes without washing them well. Tomatoes, being thin-skinned fruits widely cultivated, often receive a lot of pesticides. These residues, when not properly removed, go directly into our bodies. Besides agricultural chemicals, tomatoes can carry dirt, dust, microorganisms, and even insect feces from the field to your home. That's why washing well is more than a recommendation, it's a necessity. When we eat tomatoes without proper cleaning, we ingest much more than we imagine. Pesticide residues are linked to several health problems, ranging from mild poisoning to hormonal disorders, neurological diseases, and in extreme cases, certain cancers. It's scary to think something as simple as washing could prevent such big risks, right? And it's not only pesticides that worry. Tomatoes may carry parasite eggs, dangerous bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli, and invisible fungi. All this can trigger serious food infections leading to diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and in severe situations, hospitalization. It's a silent danger present on the tables of those who don't pay enough attention to cleaning. Another problem is trusting that just rinsing under running water solves everything. In truth, this removes only some surface dirt. For effective cleaning, it's recommended to use specific solutions like water with baking soda, vinegar, or special fruit and vegetable cleaners. This ensures a much more efficient removal of residues and microorganisms. If you think you're safe buying tomatoes at markets or local producers, here's a warning. Contamination can happen at any stage, from growing to transport. Even organic, pesticide-free foods can carry dust, insects, and fungi. So washing is not optional. It's mandatory for all kinds of tomatoes. The risk is even greater when tomatoes are eaten raw, like in salads, where no cooking process eliminates pathogens. So doubling your cleaning efforts is essential to protect you and your family from problems that could often be easily avoided. Also, drying tomatoes well before storing is interesting. Residual moisture favors fungus and bacteria growth during storage, speeding up spoilage. This simple habit extends tomato shelf life and preserves quality. The good news is that with a few minutes and a good cleaning routine, you remove over 95% of risks linked to contaminated tomatoes. It's a small time investment compared to huge health benefits. Now, if you think this mistake is serious, no, it's nothing compared to the most destructive one, the one that practically cancels tomato benefits in your body. And it will only be revealed in the last chapter of this video. So don't go anywhere. Number 5. Cooking tomatoes for too long. Cooking tomatoes is common in many cuisines worldwide. Who doesn't like a rich sauce or oven-roasted tomatoes? But there's a detail many don't know. Cooking time can directly impact the nutritional value of tomatoes. The longer a tomato is exposed to heat, the more it loses sensitive nutrients, especially vitamin C. Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant essential to strengthen the immune system, improve healing, and protect cells against premature aging. However, it's highly unstable when exposed to heat. Cooking tomatoes for long periods practically destroys this important vitamin. Besides vitamin C, other antioxidant compounds can also degrade, though to a lesser extent. On the other hand, heat has positive points too, as it increases lycopene bioavailability, an antioxidant responsible for tomatoes' red color and a major protector against cardiovascular diseases and some cancers. So, there's a fine line between benefit and harm. The problem arises when tomatoes are overcooked, like in sauces simmered for hours. This prolonged time destroys many sensitive nutrients and changes texture and flavor, making the tomato more acidic and less pleasant. Often, the sauce even tastes somewhat bitter due to overcooking. For those who like cooking tomatoes, the best strategy is to choose quicker methods, like light sautés or cooking for just a few minutes. This preserves most nutrients, keeping a balance between flavor and nutrition. A quickly made sauce with fresh, ripe tomatoes is much healthier than one simmered for hours. Also, it's always interesting to combine tomatoes with other ingredients that complement their nutritional profile like garlic, onion, basil, and olive oil. These not only enrich flavor, but add antioxidants, vitamins, and healthy fats that optimize nutrient absorption from tomatoes. Another practical tip is to prepare sauce only in amounts for one meal or a few days at most. Reheating the same sauce multiple times also causes progressive nutrient loss, so avoid making large quantities that you keep reheating repeatedly. If your goal is to eat tomatoes in the most nutritious way possible, alternate raw preparations with briefly cooked ones. This way you get the best of both worlds: bioavailable lycopene from cooked tomatoes and vitamin C from raw tomatoes. But beware, the mistakes we've talked about so far, while serious, still don't compare to the worst one of all. The biggest mistake, the one that practically destroys almost all tomato benefits and puts your health at risk, will be revealed in the last chapter. So stay with me until the end. Number 4. Storing tomatoes in the fridge for too long. Many people, after coming back from the market or fair, automatically put tomatoes in the fridge. The idea seems logical. Keep them better, prevent quick spoilage. But this practice is a big mistake when it comes to nutritional quality and flavor. That's because the cold from the fridge directly affects texture, aroma, and some nutrients in tomatoes. When tomatoes are exposed to very low temperatures, they suffer chilling injury. This alters their biochemical properties, making enzymes responsible for flavor and aroma development stop working properly. The result? Tomatoes with mealy texture, dull flavor, and practically no smell. Besides that, fridge cold stops the natural ripening process, essential for forming important antioxidant compounds like lycopene. That means the tomato you put in the fridge loses not only flavor, but also antioxidant power. It's like turning a superfood into something bland and less beneficial. Studies show tomatoes stored below 12 degrees Celsius lose a big part of their volatile compounds responsible for the fruit's characteristic flavor. When returned to room temperature, these compounds don't regenerate. The damage is permanent. That explains why many fridge tomatoes taste watery and have unpleasant texture. Another critical point is that fridge humidity favors fungus growth, especially if tomatoes are stored wet or with microcracks in the skin. This not only speeds spoilage, but also increases risk of invisible contamination, which only shows when the tomato is already compromised. The ideal is to keep tomatoes out of the fridge in a cool, ventilated place away from direct light. A fruit bowl on the kitchen counter, for example, is perfect. This way, they continue their natural ripening, preserving flavor, texture, and precious nutrients. If tomatoes are very ripe and won't be used soon, then you can put them in the fridge, but with a caveat. Take them out at least an hour before eating, so they regain some texture and aroma. This minimizes, but doesn't completely reverse the cold damage. Another good practice is storing tomatoes in paper bags or cardboard boxes, which help control humidity and prevent them from touching each other directly, which also speeds rot. Small details that make a big difference in preservation. So, if you want to preserve tomato benefits, flavor, and texture, rethink that habit of putting them in the fridge. This simple change can completely transform your kitchen experience and, most importantly, better protect your health. Number 3. Eating tomatoes with damaged or rotten skin. When tomato skin shows cracks, dark spots, or signs of rot, it's a clear warning it's no longer safe to eat. The skin is the tomato's first line of defense against external agents like fungi, bacteria, and chemicals. When this protection breaks, the tomatoes inside becomes a perfect environment for harmful microorganisms. Unfortunately, many still insist on eating tomatoes in these conditions. The big problem is that even if you cut off the visibly spoiled part, the tomatoes inside may already be compromised. Fungi and bacteria spread invisibly, forming colonies often not visible to the naked eye. That means a small bruise or crack that seems harmless may hide a much bigger risk than you think. Besides food poisoning risk, eating tomatoes with damaged skin can expose the body to mycotoxins, toxic substances produced by some fungi. These toxins are extremely harmful and, if ingested frequently, can cause cumulative damage to liver, kidneys, and even the nervous system. It's a risk not worth taking just for a tomato. Another worrying factor is that damaged skins allow insects and parasites to enter, depositing eggs or feces inside the fruit. This further increases the risk of gastrointestinal infections. It's scary to think that something as simple as ignoring a small skin damage can lead to serious problems. Often, out of hurry or not wanting to waste food, people use compromised tomatoes in sauces or sautés, believing cooking heat is enough to eliminate risks. Unfortunately, that's not true. Some toxins and residues produced by fungi are heat-resistant and remain harmful even after cooking. The smell and taste of a tomato that started decomposing are also altered. You know that slightly sour taste or strange smell during preparation. That's a clear sign the tomato is no longer suitable for consumption. And believe me, insisting on using food in these conditions can cost your health dearly. So the recommendation is simple and direct. Any sign of skin damage, mold, dark spots, sticky texture, or bad odor means the tomato should be discarded immediately. There's no excuse to risk it when fresh, whole, well-preserved food is so accessible and easy to find. Taking care of tomato quality isn't just about aesthetics or flavor. It's a matter of public health and personal well-being. Always prioritize fresh, intact, and well-preserved foods. It makes all the difference to your health short and long term. And beware, if you think this is a serious mistake, wait to discover the worst one of all, the one that completely destroys tomato benefits in your body. It will be revealed in the last chapter of this video. So stay alert and keep watching until the end. Number 2. Not combining tomatoes with healthy fats. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, an extremely powerful antioxidant that protects the body against inflammation, premature aging, and even some cancers like prostate cancer. However, there's a little known but absolutely crucial detail. Lycopene is fat-soluble. This means it's only well absorbed by our bodies when paired with a source of healthy fat. When you eat tomato alone, especially raw, the amount of lycopene actually absorbed by your body is very small. This causes you to lose most of the benefits of this valuable compound. That's why whenever you eat tomatoes, especially raw, it's essential to combine them with extra virgin olive oil, avocado, nuts, or any other source of good fat. Extra virgin olive oil is undoubtedly tomatoes' ideal partner. Rich in monounsaturated fats, it not only improves lycopene absorption, but also offers additional benefits for cardiovascular and brain health. It's the perfect combo of flavor and functionality, capable of turning a simple salad into a real health elixir. This mistake is much more common than you think. Many people eat plain tomato without any fat, thinking they're making an excellent health investment. In fact, they're missing out on much of the nutritional potential tomatoes offer. It's like buying a brand new car and never putting gas in it. It simply won't work properly. Scientific studies show lycopene bioavailability can increase up to 4 times when tomato is eaten with healthy fats. This not only boosts antioxidant benefits, but also helps protect cells from damage caused by free radicals, which are directly linked to aging and many chronic diseases. Another interesting tip is that lycopene becomes more bioavailable when tomato is slightly heated. That's why a sautéed tomato with olive oil, for example, is one of the most efficient ways to get all the benefits of this food. But of course, without overcooking, as we already mentioned. Besides olive oil, other healthy fat sources can be great tomato allies. Avocado, nuts, seeds, and even omega-3 rich fish like salmon work perfectly in this combo. The important thing is to always have some good fat in the same meal. So next time you make a caprese salad, a sauce, or any tomato dish, don't forget, a drizzle of olive oil might be the difference between a simply tasty dish and a real bomb of beneficial nutrients for your health. It's a simple detail, but it makes all the difference. And look, this mistake is pretty common, but get ready, because the worst mistake of all, the one that really destroys tomato benefits and directly affects your health, will only be revealed in the last chapter. Stay with me until the end to find out. Number 1. Ignoring personal allergies or intolerances. Although tomatoes are considered a superfood for most people, they can be a real villain for others. Some individuals have allergies or intolerances to tomatoes and often don't even know it. Symptoms can range from mild to severe, including gastrointestinal discomfort, skin rashes, itching, swelling, and even breathing difficulties in severe cases. This condition is often underestimated because signs are not always immediately linked to tomato consumption. Many people suffer from recurring problems like heartburn, diarrhea, itching, or skin spots without realizing tomatoes could be the cause. It's more common than you think, and few people make the connection daily. The problem lies in tomatoes' chemical composition, which contains proteins that, in some bodies, are recognized as foreign agents. This triggers an immune response trying to fight this invader, causing allergic or intolerant symptoms. This is not fussiness or oversensitivity. It's a real bodily reaction. Another point is that besides classic allergies, some people have acidity intolerance to tomatoes. This isn't exactly an allergy, but a sensitivity that mainly shows in the digestive system. Those with gastritis, reflux, or irritable bowel syndrome often notice symptom worsening after eating tomatoes, especially raw or in large amounts. Ignoring these signs is a serious mistake that can significantly affect quality of life. The good news is that by identifying the link between symptoms and tomato intake, you can adjust your diet, looking for alternatives that offer similar benefits, but without discomfort. In severe allergy cases, the best is to avoid tomatoes completely and consult a specialist to confirm diagnosis and guide appropriate substitutions. For those with just intolerance, strategies can help, like preferring cooked tomatoes, reducing quantity, or choosing lower acidity tomato varieties. There are even specific tomatoes developed with lower acidity, better for those with digestive discomfort. Adjusting your diet according to your body's needs is one of the smartest and most responsible actions when it comes to health. So don't underestimate the signs your body gives. If after eating tomatoes you notice any discomfort, pay attention. Investigating and understanding your body's particularities is fundamental for a healthier, fuller life free of unnecessary troubles. And to keep receiving the best videos for your health and well-being, subscribe to the channel. It exists for a very simple reason: to help you become a stronger and happier person. And in the video that's now on your screen, I reveal 7 serious signs of colon cancer that can kill you. To watch that video, just click on the screen. See you in the next video.